Easter was not really a big event, really, for us. I don't really have a lot of Easter memories. I do remember getting the eggs. We get the real hard-boiled eggs that you dip in the really sticky dye. And if you didn't find one, you would notice in about a week or so that you had not found one. But there is one Easter which really stands out for me. And I think I was about 8 or 9. It was the year my mother and I went to go visit her sister and her sister's husband, my aunt and uncle, in Colorado. So it was very special and exciting. It was my first time flying on an airplane. And that was the days where you dress up to go on an airplane, not like now where everybody wears pajamas, but and you got weird food, but it was exciting because it was on an airplane. So we flew out to Denver, and my aunt and uncle were very devout. They were Lutherans, and we went to church with them. And I don't really remember much about the church, but what I do remember is in the Easter basket, I got a little Captain America doll, which was super duper exciting because we usually didn't get presents for Easter. And so this one really, really stood out for me. But yet, as I've gone through my life, I kind of look back on that experience, and of course, Easter is like a big deal for me now. And I think about how all of the ways throughout my life, God has sort of intersected with me. Right? In that time there when we did go to church that one Easter. And then other times I went to a Catholic youth camp and we had Mass. And they let me participate, which was odd because I wasn't baptized or Catholic. But the priest there didn't really care so much. And so many other instances where God was sort of right there in my path. And I didn't notice or I wasn't aware. God was there anyway. And I went through my life and I had some, things going on, and I was in my early 30s, and I had sort of an experience of God that really sort of changed me. And I decided that I should get baptized. I had already been going to church on Christmas Eve, as I told this story before Christmas Eve, but that was the year I decided to go on Easter too. It was my first Easter service since I've been 8 years old. And I go and I talk to the priest, the real Father John, and I said, I'd really like to be baptized. And Father John was somewhat skeptical because not a lot of people walk through the door saying, I'd really like to get baptized and be super involved. And he was right to be skeptical. That's true. People don't do that too often. But I did. And I was excited, and I went through this program that they had for new converts, I guess, to Christianity. And on the Easter Vigil, which we had last night, I was baptized, and it was an amazing moment. I had a blue shirt and a yellow tie, I remember that. But it was really something. And my wife told me when I started on this journey that she said to me, and I quote, that's fine, you go do what you need to do, you go get baptized, but don't come back to me and say you want to be a priest. So that was a really hard conversation when the time finally came to talk about that. She has been wonderfully supportive. And so I think about my own life and about the role that Easter has sort of played, and it's been sort of central in many ways, even though I wasn't aware of it when it was happening. And I think that's true for all of us, that God is interwoven into our lives, and we encounter the holy, even if we don't recognize it. It's right there, waiting for us to sort of see it, to open our eyes to the possibility. And that ultimately, I think, is what the resurrection represents for us. It is about the birth of hope. And that all of the challenges and difficulties of this world that weigh us down, and all of the things that hold us back, our fears and our anxieties and the acts of evil that surround us, can feel overwhelming. It can feel like so much weight that we just can't bear to deal with it. So we often find ourselves seeking distractions and things just to keep that at bay. But I think what Jesus represents in the resurrection is that there is another option for us. We don't have to hide ourselves away from the world. But we can see that the evils and the darkness and the anxieties and the fears and the things that weigh us down can be overcome through the love of God. And that through the love of God, Jesus Christ overcame death itself to rise again and to inspire his disciples to go to the ends of the world sharing this amazing event, this experience that they had had, this birth of hope, about the possibility of a new way, the way of love. So we come together, I hope today, on this day of all days, to celebrate what is possible, what we can hope for, what can be, and to not be held back by what is, but to see that with God's help, nothing is impossible. That the world we want to live in, the relationships that we want to have, are all possible for us. Because God has loved us and shown us the way in the life of Jesus